Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for July 14th. July 14th is the 195th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 196th in leap years, with 170 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is Hobson's choice. Hobson's choice is a noun that means the choice of taking what is offered or none. It's an apparently free choice with no acceptable alternative. This word is named after a liveryman, T. Hobson, who lived from the mid-1500s through the first third of the 1600s. He would offer his customers the choice of renting the horse near the stable door or none at all. Maybe Mr. Hobson wasn't necessarily so well versed in 21st century customer service, but he did make sure all his animals received equal opportunity. One might say that Henry Ford offered a Hobson's choice in color of his early automobiles. You can have any color you like as long as it's black. Hobson had a variety of horses, and Hobson's choice ensured that all the horses got equal use and equal rest instead of the customer favorites getting all the wear and tear. Some have offered suggestions as to how he might have done things differently, but he ran his stable the way he ran his stable. Hobson's choice. If you have a word you'd like me to explore in the Word of the Day section, pop it in the comments, and if I can find a definition for it, we'll talk about it. And with that, the Sedition Act became law in the United States on July 14, 1798, making it a federal crime to write, publish, or utter false or malicious statements about the United States government. The word sedition, by the way, means conduct or speech that incites people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. So there's a bonus word today for you. Sedition acts seem to ebb and flow in United States history, often conflicting with First Amendment free speech. Not sure where we are with that right this minute. If you have a firm grasp on that at the moment, let me know in the comments section, but I don't recall having heard anyone arrested for sedition lately. The Chicago Fire of 1874, on July 14, 1874, burned down 47 acres of the city and destroyed 812 buildings, killed 20 people, and resulted in the fire insurance industry demanding municipal reforms from Chicago's City Council. This is the birthday of Austrian painter and illustrator Gustav Klimt. Born July 14, 1862, he worked in symbolism and Art Nouveau, and his primary subject was the female body. He certainly did some interesting work. Gustav Klimt lived to the age of 55. The Great Railroad Strike of 1877 began in Martinsburg, West Virginia on July 14, 1877, when the wages of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad workers were cut for the third time in a year. Wow. Nobody likes to get their wages cut. That strike was ended later in the year by local and state militias and federal troops. This is the birthday of American animator, director, producer, and actor William Hanna, born July 14, 1910. Cartoon aficionados and fans might recognize his name as being the Hanna of Hanna-Barbera, creators of Huckleberry Hound, Flintstones, Yogi Bear, the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, and Smurfs, to name a few. William Hanna lived to the age of 90. This is the birthday of American singer, songwriter, and guitarist Woody Guthrie, born July 14, 1912. He's famous for songs in a genre known as American Western folk music. He gave us such songs as This Land Is Your Land and has been acknowledged by the likes of Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen, Harry Chapin, John Mellencamp, Pete Seeger, Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, and others as being a major influence on their work. He lived to the age of 55. This is the birthday of American commander, lawyer, and politician Gerald Ford, 38th President of the United States. He was born July 14th, 1913. Interesting about Gerald Ford, his birth certificate name was Leslie Lynch King, Jr. His parents were living with his paternal grandparents when he was born, separated when he was just 16 days old, just over 2 weeks old. The couple went on to get a divorce in the December of that year, very unusual in those days. Ford's biological father, Leslie Lynch King Sr., may have had some personality or psychiatric issues of some sort, I'm not sure. But anyway, he would slap his wife around. She took the baby and moved out when he threatened her, the baby, and their nursemaid with a knife. When the boy was about 4 years old, his mother married a man named Gerald Rudolph Ford, and they took to calling him Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr., the name by which we all know him today. President Ford lived to the age of 93. The Mariner 4 flyby of Mars took the first close-up photos of another planet on July 14, 1965. Capital punishment was abolished in Canada on July 14, 1976. If you happen to be unfamiliar with the term capital punishment, that's the death penalty. The death penalty was abolished in Canada on July 14, 1976. Today's song is Roses Are Red, My Love by Bobby Vinton, number 1 on July 14, 1962. Composed by Al Byron and Paul Evans, Bobby Vinton found this song in a reject pile at Epic Records. He tried it first in an R&B mode, and I'm trying to imagine this song as an R&B song. I can't quite. Anyway, Bobby was allowed to re-record it with an orchestra and a choir in a slower tempo. Released in April of 1962, Roses Are Red, My Love hit number 1 on July 14, 1962, and held that spot for 4 weeks. Bobby Vinton's first hit and Epic Records' first number 1 hit. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. And you can also find me on Rumble and BitChute. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Microphone over there. Hello. Okay. With 202 days remaining to the end of the world. End of the year. Please, not the end of the world. 202 days remaining to the end of the year. Let's read that one again. Yep, it is. That's what it's called. All right. Third time better be a charm. There's no "the" there. One more time. Attracting. Just read the whole thing over. Are you making some sound? Get on out of here. Yeah, we're gonna edit that out. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.